Welcome to this week's episode of Car Stars and Roll Bars. I'm Mike Kinney, your host. In our episodes, we touch on cool car shows, everything going on, what it can do with racing and motorsports, as well as celebrities. And today, we always talk about all these great celebrities we have. Well, today we have an extra cool celebrity, because anybody into hot rodding, you know you got to have pinstriping. And to me, there's nobody better in probably the world, I used to say Western Hemisphere, than Von Hot Rod. You see the tagline, Master of the Fine Line. And this is going to be self-evident as we start talking. Von, I think you're out there remotely. Welcome to the show. So glad to have you with us, brother. We got the pointing going on us.
That's right. How are you guys? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We are thrilled to have you. We spent a lot of time together at the SEMA show. We're going to talk about the other events we've done. Yeah, for the viewers, he and I, Diego, had dinner together. I think the restaurant finally recovered.
I know. I think so. That was cool.
And for the viewers that don't know a lot about Von Hot Rod, you literally started looking at my notes, and about the 8th grade, you're saying, you know, I'm gonna have my own kind of like speed shop, a hot rod shop before you get done with your life, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in, the motorsport industry. Dad's a sprint car driver, drag racer. So I've been turning wrenches as far back as I can remember. And it was just a struggle for me as a kid, because on Saturdays we'd spend time, working on cars and building stuff. And people would always come by for that race, either that night or the next day, and trying to fix their cars. So I was always handing wrenches. And of course it was the wrong one, because I didn't know any better. He'd say, let me have that half inch, and I'd send him a pair of pliers. And, and the concept was, I was always spending my Saturdays going to guys' junkyard, speed shops, Then it wasn't really one location. It was just whatever you could find and where you could find it. And I kept saying, why doesn't somebody open up one shop where you can buy everything under one roof? And Dad said, well, that would never happen. That's too big of an inventory. And I kind of kept that mentality my whole life. And I just went for it. I opened my hot rod shop and just went for it, where you can buy everything under one roof, bumper to bumper.
Yeah, so you had your hot rod shop, and look, my notes, you had it in Fontana, then eventually you moved to Norco, which is kind of like Northern Corona, right? It became Norco.
Exactly. And, I moved it there for location, because at that time, all the freeways met. It was kind of centrally located. If you're going to Vegas, you go down to 15. If you're coming from Orange County, you come up to 91. It's right there. And it's right there. And that's why I moved it there. It was a sleepy horse town when I moved there. I was literally the only one there on the street. And then, of course, it all changed, got built up around me.
Well, good friends of ours, Phil and Mary Leatherman, they retired and moved, but their hot rod shop was right there in Corona.
Yeah, absolutely. He was always hanging out the shop, always hanging out. Little note of that flamethrower. We designed the flamethrower kit because we made flamethrowers for years. And he took that flamethrower kit and expanded it to what he is known for today.
Really? So he started out with yours and pumped it up a little bit.
And just pumped it up, We because it really wasn't a flamethrower kit, because those are kind of sort of against the law.
Well, it
was a partial kit, and this could be used for off-road use only. And
off-road only, right?
Yeah, they started injecting fuel, and it turned out to what it is today.
And for the viewers, we're talking about Wild saying it, and it's a big block Chevy 1671 blower, overdriven. I mean, just overdriven. And Phil's whole goal was that we want to get 10, 15-foot flames, 20-foot flames.
Yes.
And I already warned our producer, okay, Vaughn and I have history, so the show, we're going to stay somewhat resembling a schedule. Probably
we get
not.
Sidetracked real quick.
We may get sidetracked. Before we jump into a video real quick, you've got a clothing line, you've got a jewelry line, so you're much more than the master of the fine line.
Well, it's crazy, because the hot rod shop, everything veered off from the hot rod shop. So I built this hot rod shop where anybody can come in and not only get parts and accessories, where we would do like somebody wanted their headlights French, we'd French just the headlights. We'd done partial work. We did full builds, but we did partial work. And the guys would come in, because they come in from like Orange County or San Diego, and they would spend a couple hours there. Well, the girlfriends and the wives would just stand there. And I was like, so I'd start talking to them and saying, what's going on? And they say, well, there really isn't any cool clothes, for girls in this industry. So we came out with Hot Rod Girl.
There you go.
And this year, Hot Rod Girl celebrates 32 years in business.
What?
Clothing line, Hot Rod Girl,
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
We got a lot more shop to talk about, but before we go there, we found this great video that kind of tells the story of the Vaughn And if you don't recognize the guy with him, you're definitely going to recognize the mustache. Hey, Rick, let's hit that play on the video button.
School, did you basically start building right then?
Back then, it was spending a Saturday going to junkyards and guys' garages and speed shops collecting parts. And so out of high school, I opened up a shop that you can buy everything under one roof.
So you're building cars, you had the shop going.
Yes.
Saturdays, it became this gathering spot.
Yeah. What it did is everybody used to come there and prep their cars for the local cruise night or hot rod show, like a Good Guys event or whatever, come to town. It's called Hotrods Hangout. What else would I call it? I sold the shop 9 years ago, and I can never put an S on my name. The shop was called Hotrods, 'S. So I can't do that. And I thought, gosh, my name's Hot Rod. How am I going to differentiate me from the shop? How can I figure this out? About 18 years ago, a Japanese magazine wrote an article about me and called me Von Hot Rod. So I got a translation and asked them, what's the idea of the Von? And they said, well, that's the highest reverence we can give somebody for the master of their craft. And I go, but yes, I'm taking on the name of Von Dutch. That's kind of tough. Yeah. And so I checked with a lot of other artists, and they were, that's an honor. That's fine with us. And I thought it was an honor to carry the Von name, and I never want to mess it up in any way. I want to represent it fine, because to me, that's a high reverence that they've given me.
So that's where the Von comes from.
That's
so
where it
cool.
comes from.
But these days, everybody pretty much knows you as a big-time pinstriper.
Right.
When did you start pinstriping?
Well, I was always, as a kid, fascinated by the metal flakes and the lace paint, the pinstripe, and never knew how it was done. And of course, grabbed the brush, wrong one, grabbed the paint, wrong paint, and said, I'd like to figure this out one day. And then lo and behold, some guy looks at me and goes, you look interested in this. And I said, absolutely. And he gave me the right brush, gave me a can of paint, and says, here, this is what you do, try it. I laid my first line about 12 inches, and I was hooked. And so now I just travel around, as I say, striping the world one hot rod at a time.
One hot rod at a time. I love it.
I'd like to say, look how young I was back then. It wasn't that far back. That was awesome.
Yeah,
he toured my gallery, my museum that I have. And, the guy that came in my shop and gave me the brush, his name is Dave Whittle, and he's been around a long time. So I know you.
Yeah, Dave did the pinstripe on Swoopy. He did the flames.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Swoopy.
exactly.
Yeah.
So he's a great guy. He's the one that did that. And here's the truth be told. I was in my showroom floor in my shop.
Yep.
I sent everybody to lunch. I grabbed the paint that he gave me and the brush, and I was literally pinstriping on the glass case in my showroom floor. A customer walks in. This is on a Wednesday.
Right.
Okay. This is the first time this story's been told. A customer walks in and says, I didn't know you pinstripe. And I said, oh, yeah, I do all the time. He goes, would you pinstripe my Merc? And I said, yes, I know the Mercs. I knew the car. It was a really nice car, finished, high end.
Nice.
I said, yes, but here's the catch. You need to leave it with me all day on Saturday, drop it off at 8, and don't you dare come early. You pick it up at 5 o'clock. He wanted a 3-color design on the hood and trunk. I gave him a price. We agreed. It took all day to stripe that Mercury. And all I did was a hood, trunk, and dash. That was it. It took all day. First car ever done. Guy doesn't know that. And there's a picture at SEMA of me. One of my employees took a picture of me striping the dash. And there's a picture of me at SEMA striping that dash and that Mercury. First car I ever did. First car.
Wow. So you just jumped right in the deep end of the pool, man.
I've always been the type of person to take the challenge. Like if somebody made fun of me or said you can't do it, it was okay, I'll figure it out. I'll make it happen. So everything that we built in the shop, I was able to do. Even though we had employees doing stuff, I was able to do it. So when somebody wouldn't do it correctly or they had issues, here I'd come to, guide them through or help them out with that. I would never take over because I want them to learn. The whole idea is to teach them. So, and that's how it came about. It's just on Wednesday I practice and on Saturday I pinstripe. And we were flipping cars through the shop all the time. We were always doing cars, and I was adding pinstriping. There are hundreds of cars out there we built that I striped that I didn't tell anybody.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Real quick on Dave Whittle, he came by the Leatherman shop and he was going to lay out on the flames on Swoopy. And for the viewers, you paint your car, you clear it, and then you scuff it so when you lay the flames, they can bite. So Dave Whittle comes up, has his old scuffed up fingers, and he rubs the fenders and he goes, ooh, nice canvas.
He's a great guy. Really, really
He's a
love
great.
Dave.
I think we got a shot. We refer to it as the early days, and sometimes one picture is all you really need. I think we got that one handy. We can pull up.
Oh, dude, look at that.
Now
Wow.
now is that you kneeling down?
That's me kneeling down. Look at that. I'm in white. How rare is that?
And you have a mustache.
Oh, don't say that. We need to Photoshop that out.
So touch base, because you got some players behind you, brother.
Yeah, there's, you can see Gene Winfield
Right.
there on your, on the end, on the opposite end, there's Larry Watson.
Wow.
Von Franco is next to him. Steve Stanford. The guy in the top hat is obviously Ed Big Daddy Roth.
Right, that's Ed Roth.
Right in front of him, a little to the left, is Rich Bichette, West Coast Customs.
Yep.
Pete Jackson right below him, and then in front of him is Bill Hines.
Yeah, Billy Hines.
Right next to Ed is George Barris. You can barely see him with his sunglasses on. There's Herschel Conway Jr. there. There's Bill DeCar. And, sad to say, there's only a few of us left in that picture. That's about 1995. That's in front of my shop. And behind us, if you can barely see the little gold and pearl white, that's George Barris's Ford. At that time, what were they? A Ranger? I think it was a Ford Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You remember that? He customized that thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was like a normal gathering or hangout plan at my shop. This is how it was. We never, we're all friends. We all grew up together. I've been around these guys forever. And this is just how it was. We just came out and we just, had burgers and fries and hung out at the shop with all these people dropping by.
Yeah. We just chatted. Rick, go ahead and bring us back up together for a moment, and we got some more cool pics coming up. And we've had the pleasure of just knowing. I stand on the shoulders of giants, guys like you. And so a few years ago, we're at SEMA, and I'm having drinks with Gene. Right? People saw me later. Goes, is that Gene Winfield? I said, yeah. He says, you know him? I said, well, he's a pretty nice guy. So that community continues to grow. We got a few pictures. We're going to step through some of those a little bit quick, and we got a couple towards the ends we want to talk about a lot. So I can hear the viewers in my ear go, Mike, when are we going to see some of this Master of the Fine Line? Well, hold on to your socks. Yeah. Check this out.
What do we got?
Yeah, there we go. And that's kind of like almost your universal pose, right? You got your one hand to kind of steady, and then off you go, right, brother?
Yeah, that's an old Von Dutch trick of two-hand pinstriping. I just use two hands. I'm one of the only guys that still do the two-hand stuff.
Wow. I think we got a few more. So you're doing a high heel.
Yeah. And this is what's crazy is this was in Australia at night. This girl wanted her shoes on, and you can see the spotlight. They're giving me a spotlight so I can stripe the shoe because it was dark.
I love it. I think we got one coming up that's just, so it's beautiful in the steering wheel. And what fascinates me, Vaughn, with your abilities is the way you balance it. Like one spoke of the steering wheel to the other, and you have that, get balance and some symmetry to it. There we go. I always love trying to use big words on Friday. And I think we got another one here. What is so it appears you're pinstriping with your teeth.
Yeah, that was exactly right. Yeah, I'm striping with the teeth. Just, it's one of those photo ops. It's a lot of fun. That was in, it's an event called Grease Fest. And the guy came up and he goes, I always get pictures of you striping. Is there anything you can do that's kind of fun? I said, oh, here we go.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
Yeah, so I ran the line all the way from the top of the pin to the bottom, and he's like, whoa, can you do it again? I said, sure.
Yeah. Oh, I love, and literally big and small, so that's about as small as you can get Von Hot Rod on the trunk.
You do know that's my 41 Ford that I built that's got a Gene Winfield chop on it.
Nice.
That's the Hot Wheel car. That's the deal I did with Miguel in 1998. That's the Hot Wheel car. Yeah, somebody wanted it opened and pinstriped, so.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
And look, we got now. This is fascinating, brother. What is this about?
Well, I do a lot of other things than pinstripe. I do a lot of sculptures and a lot of art. And I was commissioned by Coker Tire to give a couple things away at SEMA.
Nice.
And so I went through and I picked their shop. That is actually a scooter tire. That's what that is. So it's not very big. It's probably like the size of a large pizza pan.
Yeah.
And that's what I came up with in my head. It's a clock. You can see the hands are a little bit past the tire. And we gave that away at SEMA. Yeah, it's super cool. I love that. Yeah.
That is, I was thinking that would be neat in anybody's man cave or garage, right?
Yeah, it's super fun.
Wow. And we got one more of this kind of mad scientist art.
Yes.
Every once in a while, Vaughn, you make my jaw hit the table. This is one of them. What is going on here?
Same with that. I was commissioned to build an art piece for SEMA for their auction. And this is what I came up with. 53 Ford Fairlane hubcap, 53 Chevy horn ring, and that's a 39 Chevy fog light with the crease lens. And then obviously, the tail light there.
Yep.
It all lights up through the copper that you see in the back there. All the wires run through the copper. It's just fun. It's something that you would love to have in your office or desk or living room.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Who would not want that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all on the bottom. They're all hand signed and numbered, so you can kind of brag of what number you have in one of my sculptures.
So are those sculptures? Go ahead and bring us back up, Rick. Are those type of sculptures? Is that something that someone could contact you if they wanted one? Or
all that stuff is commissioned because it's
beautiful.
There a lot of time. I just built one for a guy. He wanted everything Ford Mustang. So
beautiful.
You got to spend the time of picking. You got to go find stuff, Ford Mustang related. And it all depends on what the person wants. I did one, a military. I had to go picking for military stuff.
Nice.
So it all matters of what I could find. And price range, they're not cheap because a time-wise, it could take me 4 to 6 months to build something because I got to find the right parts, and then design it and build it.
Yeah. So it isn't like one of those $50 clocks for your shop you'll see on Amazon. This is a little different approach. So for the viewers, okay, we know we're in the holiday season. You might take a note of this. So if you want to surprise somebody in your life for next year, you contact Vaughn early on. Right? Well, there's contact information there. We'll do it again later. And if you want to have a gift that people will never, ever forget, I think that might be a fun way to do it. Well, naturally, in the world of Vaughn Hot Rod, the other thing I've noticed, you are never standing by yourself for very long. You are a magnet for people. They love being around you. Part of you're just a gracious, kind guy to begin with. Yeah. And you know a few people. So I think we have a few celebrity shots like that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's Barry McGuire. There's Paul. There's Karen McGuire, Kathy, and Gary they're out of Arizona. So that was Cruising for a Cure.
Yep. We were at Cruise, and we want to get Debbie on the show. That is just phenomenal, phenomenal effort, man.
Amazing show. I love what she does.
Yes. There's kind of getting to be a herd of talent.
Yeah, that's Benedict Castle Concourse there. Yep. That's Ed Iscaderi. There's Gene Winfield. There's Nicole McGuire, dead center.
Yeah, there's Nicole. There's Corky. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
Here you go.
Yeah, this one's fun. Yeah, I like that one.
And you got Chris Jacobs in the back. You got Dennis there. You got Corky. Yeah, and it's always fun because anybody's around you, they're going to smile because it's kind of contagious when you hang out with Vaughn Hot Rod.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. Christy Lee's at the end there. Unfortunately, she just got her Hellcat stolen out of her driveway. She was at an event, and her camera went off, and she literally watched the guys get in her car and drive away. It was really sad. So they're looking for her Hellcat.
Dang.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Yeah.
There's our old running buddy Stacy David. I mean, that's just.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's always where everybody poses and they just stand there, and I'm like, no. Everybody's you got to do the Vaughn point. Hashtag the Vaughn point. You
got to do Vaughn point. It's otherwise it ain't real, right? I think we got one more. There's a guy that you can hang with. Yeah.
Billy's a great guy. And little known fact, Billy actually pinstripes. He really does pinstripe. He's very good. Yeah.
Wow. So, And as we had Kenny Youngblood on the show a couple of weeks ago, and we had a little clip of him talking about Youngblood and just what a great talent as a guitarist, and he's a hot rodder in his own right. So before we jump into some more, we got some more. We had a video coming up. We're going to be talking about Benedict Castle, so viewers get ready for that. Please take notes. That's in May each year, so you'll see the dates later on. So for you, kind sir, What's your favorite automotive memory?
Oh, favorite memory.
Yeah.
That's tough because as I travel, there's a lot of great cars, people that I run into. And okay, it's probably going to be a 55 Chevy Gasser with no motor. The motor's out. The hood is off. As a kid, swinging on that bar between the frame rails, under the car, up through the firewall, up on the windshield, across the roof, slide down the back window, down the trunk. That was my stuff. Yeah. You cannot get any better than that as a kid.
So it's your own version gymnastics.
It was my own playground. That's, getting in there because, Dad was fixing these cars. I'd get in there and the steering wheel, back then it's just giant.
Yeah.
And I would just sit there and go through the gears like I was racing and making the car sounds. And
yeah, you got
another good one is,
oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mostly shifting. Another good one was I have this, and I still own it today. I have a 1961 C10 Chevy truck, 4-wheel drive. Okay.
Nice.
Dad's truck. Dad, said this will be your truck someday, and I still own it. Since then I've redone it. It's raised really high. But as a kid, A&W, I would sit in the steering wheel, and rock side to side while Dad, we were getting our burgers and stuff like that. That's how big that steering wheel was, the way I used to sit in it. So I got great memories of cars. When Dad used to street race, he had a 55 Pontiac fuel injected, and we used to go down to the local boulevard.
Yep.
And we'd race street light to street light because there's nothing faster than first. By the time you hit second gear, you've got to slow down.
Exactly.
So as a kid, I would stand up in the bench seat. Dad would lunch, and I would end up in the back seat, and I thought that was the greatest thing. That was such a thrill as a kid.
I love it. And so anybody out there from DOT, seat belts, this is a little different era. Okay, well, we're reminiscing, kind sir. This is probably even a little harder for you. What's your favorite hot rod?
Oh, gosh.
I know. I'm sorry, Vaughn. It's my job.
Yeah. That's rough because, I love, there's nothing like a 29 with a flathead with two barrels on it. I love stuff like that. Oh, I just, the chop. Yeah. Then you get into I have a 50 Willys. That's a 9-second ride. And that, you get into that and you just want to race everything. You just,
exactly.
Everywhere you get, you just want to race. It's old school Hillborn fuel injection. Takes two people to start it. And it's one of those things, it's either on or it's really on. So there's no in between. Well, that's kind of hard to say because if you jump in my 41, that's a chop top. So now you've got to drive with your head tilted, your arm out. Because you can't see.
But it looks cool.
It's one of those things. It's really hard to say, to narrow it down, because I like anything that's old, anything that's got a Buick nailhead, Chevy straight six, a flathead. I love that flathead sound, open pipes, fitting headers. That's my absolute favorite. Like my 50, that's what I'm running. I'm running a 51 block out of a Mercury with offy heads. I'm running a 4-barrel on this thing with a magneto, open headers, and I love the car. Me and my wife jump in it and we go to dinner because, I don't get to go to car shows and take cars. I'm usually doing an appearance. So I'm usually scooting around town in my cars because I got to keep them rolling. We'll go to the movies, we'll go to dinner in the old cars. And
beautiful. Keep the fluids rolling. Speaking of keeping it rolling, we've got a few shots we're going to step through rather quickly about Benedict Castle. And for my viewers, please take some notes. This is a very special event, and you're going to be seeing why. So, Rick, why don't you grab some of those pics? So this is the entrance to Benedict Castle. Now, we got a few more pictures coming up. Let's see what we got here. And you're on this beautiful grounds, right, Vaughn?
Yes. It's all the castle grounds. It's all rolling hills.
Yeah.
And it's just we tie in as many cars as we can. It's a 400 car limit. This area here is the McGuire's Elite. McGuire's handpicks 44 cars to be in this area. And it's just amazing the stuff that gets in there. It's just beautiful what these guys have been doing with sheet metal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now here we go. So for the viewers, you go to a car show, you might see, if you're lucky, literally a Vaughn hot rod. Well, you've got a herd of them there ready to do some autographing, right, buddy?
Yeah, we have an autograph session that lasts an hour. Last year, we had 16 celebrities come in. They donate their time.
Wow.
They come in, and we have a commemorative poster that suggested, donation for it.
Perfect.
And you kind of run down the line and get all these guys autographs. It's once in a lifetime shot to see all these guys.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see, I mean, you just look down there.
Oh, yeah.
You even look at Corky Coker. He's out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah.
You got, Mike Carini, or wherever he's at. He's he's out of Florida. So these guys come from all over the place like that,
Yeah, well, I was in Riyadh with Rick Dorr, and he's based here in Vegas. So you got to heard of him. Now check out the next picture, viewers. So above and beyond the autograph session, which is huge, here's some of this talent, sharing their insight. Right? That's amazing.
Yeah,
Vaughn.
we do a little car guy on stage, and we just talk like we're in the kitchen floor. We start laughing. We just start going down on, what's the weirdest thing? We start talking about customers bringing stuff. Then we do a Q&A and ask people some questions. And they have some great, great questions. It's really awesome. You can see John Buck at the end looking the other way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, John's gonna be our show early next year.
Yes. Yeah, he's a great guy. I just had dinner with him last Saturday. Now, and this is the reason why we do this show is right here. Is I dress the kids, I call them kids or students, I dress them in red shirts so you know who they are and where your money's going. And what this is a rehab center for kids, for teens.
Yes.
And it's anything substance. It can be substance abuse, it can be alcohol, it can be pornography, it can be anything they're having issues in their life. It's a year-long program. And they teach them how to do general maintenance on the castle, how to cook, how to do landscaping, how to serve, everything you can possibly think of. These guys are being trained for 1 year. It's a year program, and it's all volunteer money that comes in. It's they're telling me, right at about $48,000 a student to keep them housed.
Sure.
It's totally free to them. Because of this event, there has been 12 hot rod families that didn't know anything about the Benedict Castle, that have sent their kids that had issues in life, sent their kids through the program. And we have 12 hot rod families that have success stories that their kids are now doing very well. And they have, holding a normal job, if you could say it that way. And that's where your money's going. It's not going overseas. It's going here in the United States. It stays. And you could talk to any one of these guys, and you're literally changing lives.
I mean,
these guys their lives are changed.
And so there's your date, right?
Everybody to come out. It's a fundraiser. We're after, I hate to say it this way, but we're after your dollar. You bet. We don't want you to come and look around. We want you to come and buy a ticket. It's $10 to walk in. We want you to buy a raffle ticket, bid on the auction, buy lunch, do a castle tour. We want you to buy a t-shirt, because all the money, 100% of the money goes to them. It doesn't go to staffing. It doesn't go to anything. It doesn't go to my pocket. It doesn't go to anybody's pocket. So I always encourage everybody to come out. You can go one day without a lunch and donate that money. That's $20. If we all pitch in and donate $20, look how much more lives we can save by doing that.
And Vaughn, like you and I talked at SEMA, and I'll challenge my volunteers like we did at the SEMA show.
Yes.
Do Mikey a personal favor. Do Vaughn Hot Rod a personal favor. 1 day a week, don't get your coffee at Starbucks. Put that money in an envelope, and in May, make sure you bring it to the Benedict Castle.
Yes,
like I said, we were there for the inaugural event, Vaughn. We were blown away with these young adults. And what you're talking about, they're provided an opportunity to learn life skills that changes who they are and the trajectory of their life. Right? And I was never treated so courteous in my life. They're all very friendly, very helpful. Okay, before we go say goodbye, because everybody's got to check this out, all my viewers who are really sharp, they'll notice over Vaughn's left shoulder, there's something stuck to the wall. So, Rick, I think we have a video of that might give us a little bit of insight. And I just got to tell Mary, I really got to have one. So, Rick, go and hit that play button.
Not everybody has a dragster in their living room.
Isn't that the norm?
No, it's not. Hot Rod, it's really not.
See, I just thought, everybody's got that one signature piece in their house, and I thought, why not a 60s dragster?
I walked in, I was like, well, that's different. Just sitting against the wall.
Yeah, I was sitting down watching TV one time and looking at this blank wall and thought, you know what? This is a good idea. This is a perfect place.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
So what does What was Sandy's response, Vaughn's other? What was her response? And he said, no, baby, I found something to put on the wall.
My wife is very understanding. As you can see, that the house is definitely like a museum. There's a lot of stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just, she's a car girl through and through. She loves it. It's the response of people. Everybody has to touch it because they think it's fake.
Yeah.
And everybody touches it, and her friends, come by and they're like, there literally is a race car in your living room. She's like, yeah, there really is. There's just so everybody knows, there's no fuel system in it. I took the fuel out of it because, the fuel smells. But it was a running dragster. It happened to be here in my garage at the time because I was moving stuff around.
Right.
And that's when I got the idea of putting it there because I'm kind of retired from it. I just haven't run it in a long time. I used to run it in the 80s. And I took it down my street. I did my last burnout. I live on a dead end. And I did my last burnout all the way down the street. Did this wicked burnout. And, of course, everybody has to come out thinking, what is this guy doing? Yeah. I get to the other end. All the weight's in the back. Right. So you kind of like pick it up and spin it around. And then I did another burnout coming back. So, yeah. And then I took the fuel system out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. All the neighbors are coming out because it's, needless to say, it's very loud. It's the way that they're supposed to be. But, well, and once again, Vaughn, I've managed to exceed our time limit because we never get through all their stuff. Yeah. How do people find you and get a hold of you, brother? I think we got some contact information on the screen. You can Google or you can jump on social media. Everything is at Vaughn Hot Rod. It's really simple. Perfect. The website is VaughnHotRodShop.com. You can email me. You can listen to my radio show. I'm on KQLH 92.1. You can jump on my social media, find all the information out, and send me a message. I answer every message. I may not get to you right away because there's so many, but I literally answer every email message that comes through. And I've taught dozens of guys how to pinstripe over social media. You can weed out the ones that are not serious and answer any questions. The thing is when I was growing up and I decided to get into this industry, because you back up the years, I was a young kid breaking into technically an old man's industry. Right. And it took a good 6 years for them to get the trust that I knew what I was talking about. Cool. And once I made it, if you call it that, I said, my secrets are going to be open. I'm going to share with everybody. I'm going to help the next generation out. I can't do this forever. There is a Vaughn Hot Rod behind me. And we want to make sure we train these kids that cars are not for transportation. Cars are for collecting. Yes. They're for enjoyment. Gasoline forever is what I always say. You bet you. And it's really great. Don't believe what you hear on the news and stuff like that. The hot rodding is alive and well in the USA. You bet. Before we say goodbye, I got to ask real quick, how'd you come up with the point? Oh, it's one of those things. When I was standing there, it was like, it really is. What do I do with my hands? What do I do with them? So I took a picture. I think it was with George Barris. It's been a long time. And I said, oh my gosh, I pointed. I went, oh my gosh, look who it is. It's George Barris. And they snapped that picture. And ever since then, when they want me to take a picture with them, they say, did he point to me? Don't forget to point to me. And it just took off from there. So it was one of those things by accident, and it's you go on social media and go hashtag the Vaughn point, you'll see all kinds of pictures of me. That is amazing. And Vaughn, because all this I think it's again a reflection on your character, who you are as an individual, above and beyond your amazing talent. We can't thank you enough for being on the show. I know we're going to see you down the road. Have a great holiday season, and God bless you guys. Thank you. We'll see you guys later. Okay, man. Bye-bye. Yeah, you gotta find it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Vaughn disconnecting his audio. That concludes this week's episode of Vaughn Hot Rod, Master of the Fine Line. I knew we were going to run over. I apologize in advance. We didn't get through all the pictures. We can do it next time. But until the next time, enjoy the ride.